Hi, I'm Trish. I want to describe for you the housing that was my first experience of the farm. We lived in an old Army tent. Now the Army tents were given to us by the Army as surplus or tents that they no longer use. They were 32 feet long and about half as wide. So I think at first people didn't even figure out how to put windows in them, but by the time I was living there, they had built platforms for the Army tents, put the Army tents up on frames, and even framed in some windows. So there was some daylight that came in from the outside. And in the one I lived in, there was just about room for a bedroom on one end, a wood stove in the middle, and then some furniture for a little bit of living space. And along one side, there was a kitchen and a doorway out. Other structures had been added onto it. There was a little kid room that went out the back, and that was sometimes even used for a bedroom. My husband and I were sometimes sleeping in the end of the tent behind a curtain, and sometimes we slept in that little room when the children had another place to sleep. They slept in bunks, short bunks, because they were little kids, 5 years old at the oldest, and they slept in bunks about this long with little mattresses, and there were 3 bunks on one side of the room and 3 bunks on the other side, and that was the kid room. Let's see, we had kerosene lamps for evening, and later on we had what we called trickle charge. You took an electric light from the bulb from your car headlight and put that in the house with some aluminum foil around it to increase the light. And then we had batteries that could save up some electricity that came in over the lines overnight, and by the next evening would have enough juice to light up those little trickle charge lights. Wasn't bright light, but it was improvement over the kerosene and a little safer. So we didn't have refrigeration in a living household like that. We had some refrigeration up at the head of the roads, which was a more community center. But in our own houses, we mainly cooked all meals from scratch every day, breakfast, dinner, and supper. We just started over and we cooked for however many people there were. And there were between 20 and I think the biggest household I lived in was about 40 people. Not all, of course, in one Army tent, but in various buses and additions outside. Well, you can imagine that coping with no refrigeration and a household that wasn't even that very easy to clean. It wasn't. You know how modern houses are all so spiffy that just wiping them off over the floor is easy and that sort of thing. Well, these Army tent houses, were hard to clean because the linoleum that we had put down on the floor got old and cracked, and the counters weren't always the best materials, and so cleaning was hard. Cooking was hard and constant. Tending the children wasn't as easy as it would be in a setting that was a little more conducive to tending children. So you can imagine with all that, we sometimes got our nerves stressed. We got uptight with one another, and out came the old patterns. Now, I'm not saying this would have happened with any people, but speaking for myself, I came to the farm with these old patterns of behavior that were built into my family. So when things got difficult, I got tearful. Other people got angry or tried to control the situation and demand that this happen or that happen, that maybe wasn't going to happen. And when those things happened, we had to all stop. That was our agreement. Just stop for a few moments, even if you were very busy. Take a deep breath and give one another the kind of feedback and encouragement that was really needed. And it was in these moments that we grew and became more graceful in all our relationships.